Live from loaning out Tony to the massive report for the rest of the season to absolutely zero outrage whatsoever. It's the Vocal Minority Podcast.
Got lots of gum. Lots of gum. Oh.
Look at those gams.
It's $5 an amount you get per gam?
It's that.
Nice.
I think so.
Reasonable. All right. Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Vocal Minority Podcast. The podcast that isn't that into shuffleboard anyway. Like, all that pushing of discs and things. Who has time?
Old people, Kristin. Old people. That's who has time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, that is us then, isn't it? Damn it. All right.
Probably have during our shuffleboard years, yes. We just need a cruise.
Ooh, Mark, you're in charge of that, I feel. On this week's show, we look back at a draw in Foxy Foxborough, a rout in Victoria, the Euro final. Woo, that was fun. A look ahead to Nashville, and more. Now, this week's panel. Excited about football finally coming home. Say hello to Duncan Fletcher.
Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba.
Currently in possession of all the NWSL cards. Welcome to Mark Hinkley.
I don't know where the line is drawn between, oh, that's a good amount, and I think you might have gone too far. But if you think it's a number greater than 20 that you've gone too far, then yeah, I have 20.
Yeah, I think the line is definitely back there.
Oh yeah, no,
And Mark's gleefully running past it, looking over his shoulder, like,
There are currently two targets somewhere in the Niagara Falls area of New York State that are barren of these fucking things. Let me tell you.
Hunting for an apartment in Columbus. Tony won't be joining us this week. He's probably going to find it for cheaper than anywhere in Toronto. So, he's saving money with this move. It'll be good.
I bet he's going to end up in the posh part of Columbus where all the players hang out.
Probably, you're right. He can do man on the street reports from Columbus.
Is that Cleveland? Is that what that's called?
It'll be continental and glamorous.
I was going to say, is there a posh part of Columbus? It's probably outside of Columbus, isn't it?
I mean, it's a what do you call it? Like a state administrative town. So like somebody's got money in there.
There's got to be some cash.
Mm-hmm.
As for me, I just think it's a very good thing that accountants are used to counting. I am your host, Kristin Knowles. Now to our show.
Wait. Is this the Mark and Kristin of that Kid Nerd Corner podcast? Wow.
Did you just do an ad for us, Duncan?
That is so sweet of you.
Absolute gem.
Wow.
Both of them on here at the same time. Wow.
So chuffed.
Yeah.
Duncan, you sweetheart, you.
You got your own website and everything now.
I have nothing to do with that too, which is great. I mean, I still edit it, but I mean, I have nothing to do with that part, so it's good.
I don't have to host. I barely show up. It's magical.
See, Kristin, now you know what we've known for many, 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 many years.
Yes, I know. It's so nice, though.
I liked a bunch of those like tiny European country kits. There's some really nice ones in there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
yeah, kitnerdcorner.ca. Find it your local
for all of your kit nerd needs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, come on down to the Kit Nerd Corner Emporium.
I can't do fast bluegrass.
I know, but that was pretty good.
I tried.
All right, we should probably get to the rest of our show, right?
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Now it's time.
Okay. All right, well, it's that time when we look back at what's happened over the last week, and we're going to start with TFC versus the T terrorists. And for the most part, that was tepid tea at best. Highlights.
Definitely unsweetened tea.
Definitely, yeah, seriously.
Right?
Well, this ain't the South. No one got hurt. No one's ACLs were ruined. No quads were destroyed. We don't have to break out the hamstrung bracelets again. Lots of really good positive things. I would, however, like to probably the one thing outside of Bernie's stellar shot off the post. Like, that was a true moment of excitement in that match. That was a nice play. That was well worked. And that was a rocket off the post.
Would you say, Kristin, that was the only moment of excitement during that match?
Well, Mark, some people may want to talk about the penalty kick. And
I forgot there was another thing.
I know. I'm sorry.
That was 50% of the excitement. I forgot about the penalty. You're right.
Sorry. So since we mentioned it, we're going to talk about that first. So it was overall a fairly boring game. I watched most of it, and I have little memory of it. So little stuck in my brain from this match, like in terms of there wasn't anything that was egregiously, oh my God, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. This isn't, worst team in the world territory. But other than, again, appreciating Lil Crisco, Bernie is also bringing some nice stuff. Good to see Mark Anthony, Mark, I think he was playing. Jonathan Osorio playing. Chris Mavinga.
Hey.
Actually had a decent outing. Not like Chris Mavinga of old, but also not Chris Mavinga of much of this season, which was nice.
And another clean sheet for everyone's favorite goalie, Alex Bono.
Right,
an entire bed set now of them, 2 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. They can afford to change the sheets without having. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, was that match 150?
Yeah, I think
for him, something like that.
Or 51. He's definitely got to 150 recently. Hopefully that was it. Don't know, but yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Bradley, 700 matches for club and country. Anyway, lots of matches. But TFC and penalties. I for a team that has, for the last almost 8 years, let's say 8 years, 9 years maybe, had some quality players on their side, right? They've had some good players.
I enjoy going 8 or 9 years. Suck it, Dero. You don't count.
Whatever. Hey, Martin, it's for you, just sit down, be careful. Martin Bailey posted a lovely list of players from TFC's past that have 100% conversion rates. I don't recall seeing Dero on there, but you know who I did see? Nick fucking Soolsma. That's right.
I know. If I may.
Yes, please.
Mr. Martin Bailey, dear friend of the show and dear friend, I would like to thank you for publishing that list. Watching my wife try to pronounce some of those names as brought so much joy to my life a couple days ago. I thank you for that bonding moment, because I forgot half of those names as she was killing them. So I did not see the list. I had the list, air quotes, read to me, and Nick Soolsma was literally Nick Soolsma, Marky Delgado, and yeah, I think those are the only 2 names I really remembered from the list, because I was too busy going, whose name is that supposed to be? Oh yeah, you pronounce it this way. It's like, bless her. Thank you, Martin.
All right. Well, here's the list. João Plata, Jordan Peruzza, Marky Delgado, Robert Earnshaw, the Prince, Mark's best friend Benoit Cheroux, the only TFC player to ever sign one of my kits, Bradley Orr.
Of all the players.
I know, it was such a troll. I'm so mean. Carlos Salcedo, Lil Crisco, Drew Moore, Bernie, the inhumanely treated Issey Nakajima Ferran. Yep. Jesus Jones, Kosi Thompson, Lucas Jansen.
Lucas Johnson. Lucas Johnson.
2 seasons ago?
Yeah, who the fuck is he?
He's a defender?
I barely remember that at all.
What the fuck is Lucas Johnson? I'm literally Googling.
What penalty shootout were we in where he got to shoot?
I don't know. When did he play for Toronto?
What penalty shootout did happen where we needed to get to like the 15th and 16th shooters? Because honestly,
he's a forward? The picture for him on Google is Toronto FC. Oh yeah, we got it. Oh god, he was like loaned to us from T-Grace. Oh, it's like 4 years ago. 11 appearances, 4 goals.
From Tigres.
that sounds familiar.
Oh, sorry, T-Gray. Just the single tiger. Just T-Gray.
Yeah, Tigray.
Oh.
That T-Gray. Yeah, the other T-Gray.
Yeah, it's how I like my Earls.
That's right. I remember now. This one kills me though. Other than Nick Solsma, which just fills my heart with joy.
I know, right?
Luke Moore.
Fucking Moore.
Luke Moore. Anyway, those are all of the TFC Live, my God, I'm reading off the tweet. Toronto FC players through the years, 100% from the spot. So clearly, you know what, we were all wrong about Marky Delgado, and we need to bring Marky Delgado back. So.
Clearly, Martin needs to have his season tickets paid for by somebody at the club, because that's who keeps that stat. Amazing. Just amazing.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, Marky Delgado. Clearly, I mean, honestly, I feel like I did. I'm not gonna say we. I did not appreciate Marky Delgado's contributions until we saw who replaced him, and then it was fuck, we had him. We had him. So anyway, yeah, it's sad that the case for how good he was grew ever so slightly with that one tweet.
But yeah, so Insigne's like his kick wasn't like his take wasn't that bad. We've seen far worse penalty takes from Toronto FC players.
Yeah, it was fine. It was just, probably a little bit like too high up. I feel like you can remember it's like Javinko constantly taking things like into that bottom corner and then just going like right along the ground. So even if the goalie's diving over there, it makes it just that little bit harder to get to. Whereas this one was just, a couple of feet off the 1 to 2 feet off the ground, and just like nice height for somebody throwing themselves like horizontally. So it was not terrible, but an okay penalty. Hey ho, things happen. Whatever.
Yeah, like I get, the TFC fan base is never exactly patient or calm about most things. So the immediate rush to condemnation, I sort of understand.
It's time to write Larry off, isn't it? It
100%. Yeah, like
not just the penalty miss. I mean, what's he really done so far?
Exactly. Other than show up in white all the time, pick a different color, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah.
How about cream or something? I don't know. Mix it up. But I feel like anyway, nothing is going to change overnight, and this match certainly highlighted that. However, again, clean sheet I think is probably the thing to really sort of focus on in this, considering how recklessly TFC have bled goals this season. If all the defenders, at least the central defenders, remain healthy, and useful over the next little while, then that should go a long way to containing that. And I'm gonna probably just keep saying this. Crescito has been delightful. This is one of the best buys they've made in a long time. To me, it's reminiscent of getting one of those MLS veterans that we sort of talk about that they sort of seem to have shied away from the last couple of years. When you get a Justin Morrow or a Drew Moore or something like that, someone who knows their position, who has has some skill, knows has a good sense of the pitch, understands how to make players around them better, like that kind of thing. And I think that's what they have with Lil Crisco, and that has been, so far anyway, the biggest thing. Now, I think obviously Bernadeschi and Insigne will make a big difference, but
Lil Crisco, MLS journeyman. Wow, there we go.
Right?
That's quite the it's quite the glowing praise.
Talented MLS journeyman. Come on. You can't. Okay. I'm not damning Drew Moore and Justin Morrow, especially not Justin Morrow. We all know my thoughts on Justin Morrow. Like, those are two talented players. And yes, they applied their trade in MLS, but successfully and for many, many years. Obviously, Justin Morrow retired. Drew Moore is still playing. With a walker, I'm assuming now, but he's still playing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I liken the calmness in which he plays, the obvious knowledge of the game in which he plays, and I enjoy watching him. He's been the player I look to see what he's doing almost more than anyone right now on TFC.
Fair enough. Yeah, me too. Yeah, him and Bernie.
Yeah.
So far. Larry presumably will eventually. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I admit, I was a little surprised that Insigne started. Like, I get that, like, the turf at Gillette Stadium isn't necessarily as bad as it used to be. It's apparently a slightly better grade of turf now. However, you just have to, like, watch how the ball reacts on there. I don't know. To the person who DM'd me to let me know that we were wrong about picking on the turf at Gillette Stadium, I appreciate the shout out, appreciate the knowledge. But we have a long history with the terrible turf at Gillette Stadium, and it's a good running gag, so we're probably just going to keep running with it, even if the turf is much better than what it used to be. But thank you, nonetheless.
I just appreciate that we have a volunteer corrections department, so thank you.
Yeah. And it was a very nicely worded correction. You know what? It was a nice little message letting us know about what kind of turf they use at Gillette Stadium now. That it's similar more to Seattle and Atlanta, but I'm never going to hold Seattle up as the shining light of the land of turf. No. But anyway, yes, it sounds like it is better than what it used to be, certainly than when it destroyed Couverman's. But again, we like our gags, so we're probably just going to keep running with it. But thank you nonetheless.
Fair. Fair.
I think so. All right. Well, let's move on to like a game that was actually exciting and interesting, and that was the home leg of the CCL tie between the Aquamen and the Accountants. And whoo-hoo! Well, all the goals and excitement that were missing in the away leg, they all showed up last night. Because 6-0. 6-0.
That's
6. I still can't get a 6.
Waterhouse. Freaking shit house is what that is.
Hey! Look, I just appreciated the fact that they went down to Jamaica and served everybody up basically a butter sandwich, and then came to a feast. I thought that was like, we're gonna save all the good stuff when we get home. let's not, let's just show up for the away game. And then really, like, hell of a gamble, to be fair. Hell of a gamble.
Somehow it worked in their favor, though. They just barely know.
Yes. Pretty worked out.
Yes. Once the scoring started for Pacific, it was just, that was it. The floodgates opened. Diaz, who is been on a tear in CanPL, continued that last night with a hat trick. Josh Hurd got a brace and assisted on at least one other goal. I think Diaz also assisted on a goal. Bustos scored a fantastic header, and I felt that one, I truly felt bad for the Jamaican keeper, because there was nothing he could have done, like, at all. I was like, oh, dude, like, someone give that man a hug, like,
oh yeah.
I really did. I felt bad.
He got left hung out to dry for, just from my speculation, about 86 minutes of that 90-minute match.
Oh, so much.
And that's only because, kickoffs, they need to take time to get down there. So I'll give you 4 minutes, but that man worked. And he better not have paid for a drink the entire night afterwards, because
no kidding,
man. That was quite the display. Like, they were, and I think what's fair to say is that the goals, they kind of carved them apart. It wasn't like a couple fluke.
Oh yeah,
they were dissected and outclassed at almost every opportunity, and to the point where you start wondering, maybe Pacific is really that good.
Well, it was to the point, but partway through the second half, where they were literally just going on attacking runs for sport. It seemed like not just, oh, we want to win this game, we want to move on to the next round, but, oh, hey, if you go over there, I'm going to go over here, and you just send the ball. Oh, let's just do that. It was just, it was honestly, it was one of those games where, yes, obviously I'm a Pacific fan. I want them to win. I want them to advance. I'm very, very happy for them. But at the same time, I was like, oh, you can stop now. You've won. No, it just, the part, no. I felt bad for the accountants.
I really felt like, if you haven't had a chance, go on YouTube, go watch the 7-minute highlight reel, because
yes,
I think you kind of need to see how lopsided, there's no highlight in there for Waterhouse, and you could probably say that that's just probably clever editing. I'm gonna go with, I don't think there was anything to choose from. My personal favorite, though, that third goal, Hurd.
Oh yeah.
With he did like 2 feints and completely ruined a defender's career.
Oh my God, that man has a family.
I'm assuming. Duncan, if you want to see somebody, probably, if it wasn't for the fact that he slid, he probably would have destroyed at least one, if not both ankles. He just turned him out. Just turn him inside out. And then dished the ball off quite nicely back in the net. That was the third goal. And his reward was basically getting service for 2 goals just like that for himself. Because the 4th and 5th goals were passes from just on the edge of the box, one from the right, one from the left, center to him, pop it in the net. They look they almost look Globetrotter-esque. They really were just kind of fucking with him for a while. And it was,
and Waterhouse was the Washington Generals.
It was incredible. It was really, and I mean, I don't know the state of Jamaican club football. I don't know what the caliber's like, and I don't even want to say that, well, look at this result. There could any number of reasons, Pacific having a good day and Waterhouse having just a nightmarish last couple of days. I don't know what their form, you know what I mean? There's any number of reasons for that result to kind of the table been set for that result to happen. But my God, like I've seen some good Hamilton matches, but that was really like every goal was just a delight. It's so good. It's just so good.
Are there like very harsh regulations like relating to COVID and vaccinations or anything like that that Canada has that would stop the Jamaican first team, like Waterhouse's first team, from coming out here? Was that just like a B team that they had to put out, or was that pretty much their best team for Waterhouse? Because that seems a very obviously different tactics from the Aquaman there, but that seems very dramatically different results from those two games.
That's a good point. I don't know, actually. That's a really good question. People who listen to us, who know a little bit more about the Jamaican Premier League or about Waterhouse FC and any of their potential player issues, please get in touch, because that is a really good question. I would like to know the answer.
Yeah, I think the answer really is, who cares? It's like the 1988 hockey Olympics, when sort of Great Britain won the gold, and it's like the commentator was like, where were the Germans? But frankly, who cares? It's that kind of thing. Was this their first team? Who cares?
That's good. All right. A little CanPL news. One of the things with CanPL is that obviously they want to be seen as like a league that can, that's got a little bit of clout. That can has a bit of a presence on the world stage, not just in CCL stuff, but in terms of, the quality of their players. And we've seen a few players move from the CanPL, mostly to MLS. Some have moved overseas. The latest, the Pony Boys, they put a player out to stud. Arabim Peppel transferred to Luton Town. That's right.
I think this is probably the first and only time getting transferred to Luton has been referred to.
It's exciting. I know.
They're nearly a Premier League team these days.
Exactly. They got promotion.
This is true. They've been in the hunt for the last season or two anyway.
Mm.
But
19-year-old striker, 6 goals in 7 games this season in CanPL. Has had a great season so far. From England originally, but moved to Calgary as a child. So he's from Calgary Foothills and has been part of the Pony Boys organization since its inception, pretty much. And has played, off and on, little by over the last few seasons with them. Played at the Island Games, a little bit more featured this season. Anyway, so he trialed with a few clubs, including Sheffield United.
Ooh.
But came back to Calgary this spring, and he's off to Luton Town, and that's kind of exciting. Good for you.
Who doesn't want to be a Hatter?
Neck people. I got nothing. I mean.
Good for him. I hope he does well. Ever so slowly, but surely. But this is one that's getting a fair amount of press because everyone loves it when a player goes to an English club.
Oh yeah, spring a leak. Jeez.
They just do. Always makes me somewhat bemused by that. It's still it's still sort of considered the pinnacle in some cases, right?
Quite
Not
right.
against English. It's not a knock against English football. I watch a lot of English football, but I just find it interesting that everyone's like, "Ooh." Anyway, it's good. It's good. I'm happy for him. I hope it works out well. I don't know. Is the championship available on Fubo? Is that part of their deal this season, or do you have to keep Dazn? Like, what's the? Does anybody know? I haven't paid attention.
Yes, I guarantee nobody's buying Dazn just for the championship.
Probably not. No.
Mm.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's a good point, actually. Where the hell is the English football? Where is the Premier League this year in Canada?
Premier League's on Fubo.
What's Fubo?
It's
Fubo?
the new Dazn.
It is. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's also where if you don't want to pay for a One Soccer subscription, you get it for there too.
Oh, you just ruining Canadian football, Kristin. Why wouldn't you subscribe to One Soccer?
Because I have a Fubo subscription.
Honestly, if Canada's One Soccer only has to look itself in the mirror to sell themselves short and be on Fubo. if anyone's gonna get mad at anybody here, that's all I'm saying. But sorry, to your previous point about people getting excited when players go to anywhere in England, the last time I got excited a player went to a lower division club in Germany, I was over the moon. Do you guys remember Terrence Boyd from TFC?
Oh, Terrence Boyd from TFC.
I was so fucking happy when they sent him back to Germany because he was dog shit. And I'm surprised anybody fell for it. But anyway, I actually was trying to.
He was a U.S. international, Mark.
Exactly, Mark. How dare you?
I mean, the 14 caps he had in 26 up to 2016, I dare that much. Ain't that? Oh, he's with Kaiserslautern. Good for him. Good for him. I mean, I don't know. He bagged 39 goals in the German second division after he left. God.
Yes.
The fuck.
He was a goal-scoring machine.
Dude, he played 15 games for Kaiserslautern. He had 10 goals. What the hell?
Oh, I know.
Sorry.
German football shit. That's what the hell, man.
Yes, you're right. That's the takeaway. I'm overlooking. Thank you, Duncan, for focusing.
English football's better. Yeah. Terrence Boyd wouldn't be getting that many goals in the championship.
It looks like if you want to watch the championship, you need a Dazn subscription.
I'm not.
I've just been Googling while you've been discussing everyone's favorite ex-TFC player, Terrence Boyd.
I'm canceling the ass off of that thing.
And are they going to be covering the championship like they used to cover the Premier League?
No, it doesn't seem like it's going to be quite that extensive. No.
Oh, is it going to be like the one? I mean,
although that is what they should do. Like, they should capitalize on that. Like, I love watching. There's a lot of good football in that division. That is a lot of fun to watch, and they should be like, okay, well, fuck, you bastards went to Fubo. We are going to like feature the fuck out of the next couple divisions, and give people
League One and League Two in this.
Exactly, that would be amazing.
Some sort of rights to that because the odd game pops up here or there. Put a lot of them on that.
Would love that. I would consider keeping Dazn subscription for that reason.
I mean, I'm not going to keep it even with that, but I've tuned into random championship matches and League One matches just because, mostly because I kind of wanted to see what did that look like. You know what I mean? Like what is this version of the game look like that isn't littered with overpaid players playing for middling clubs? Like I want to see what's Derby doing? Like that kind of thing. It's like curiosity.
Yes.
I remember.
I would like to be able to watch the Posh occasionally without having to find a dodgy stream. That would be nice.
Yeah, but I mean, too many people need to be paid, Kristin. That's what I've learned.
Fine.
But yeah, like I know this is devolved quite far from where we originally
So
were.
far. It's okay. It's our show.
I know this is true. This is
let's get back to Terrence Boyd, people. Let's come on.
I know. And
Terrence Boyd.
That's my. You know what I realized?
Standing astride Bradley Orr. Was that right, or was that Luke Moore? Duncan.
Oof.
I
think that was Luke Moore.
I just want to throw that out.
Or was it Bradley Orr standing astride Luke Moore? I think.
I can no longer remember, and I feel sad. That's Anyways, Duncan. I mean, Mark, what were you talking about?
Oh, it's just saying that this is all Tony's. It's Tony's fault that we never get to do this. Just
Mm-hmm.
I would like honestly. I would like One Soccer to get other football on that isn't just random Belgian,
Leo
which I've enjoyed.
And the occasional Liga MX match, sure.
Yes. Like I don't know what rights go for, but there's got to be a couple leagues out there that can be had for pennies on the dollar. Like just get. It was brought to my attention of I think it's what's it called, One Football. And right at the end of last season, I watched like a couple Polish games and a Czech game. Holy shit, breakneck speed. It was just insane. I'm like, how are people not watching this? I loved it. I was absolutely enthralled by it. I don't know. It just feels like, I know it doesn't have, the word Real in it or Milan or Munich or like, it's not that, but it's still super good. It's still good. So just I'd like to see these services that are taking my money off from me the football that I thought I was going to get for just more than it was going to be on. So,
I mean, are you willing to give up, like hours of Gareth Wheeler every day for that back?
I would give him hours of my time if that's what it meant. Because honestly, I don't. As soon as I see his face on screen, it's either goes mute or off. Like there's no real third. As long as I have the option of choosing audio 2, 3, or 4, I'm okay with his existence because it doesn't affect me.
That's very reasonable. Very reasonable.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm definitely a fan of these streaming services, and I don't have a problem paying for it. I don't think DAZN's going to get whatever the fee increase that they'd sent out it was going to be, and then expect to get it for so little football that's going to be on it. I don't think so. So this has been streaming talk. Now back to your scheduled podcast.
And now back to our regularly scheduled show. All right, well, let's move on to some things that we're talking about at the moment. And the first one is, of course, the Euro final on Sunday between England and Germany. That, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, I think UEFA.tv archives these matches, or at least go find a good highlights package, because it's definitely worth it. My only disappointment was that it didn't go to penalties, and I hardly ever say that, but because of the two teams involved, I really wanted it to go to penalties. But I assumed that England was going to win this match because it was the women.
Penalties.
Sorry?
They were never going to win it on penalties. So what you're saying?
Sure, they were, because it's the women. They would have won. I had full confidence in the prowess of the English women to triumph regardless of circumstance. Not that Germany has a bad team. They don't. They have a very good team. But once these were the two teams that made it to the final, I assumed that England was going to win late into added extra time, sorry. Anyway, delightful match. Very enjoyable, very, very suitable as a final. Fantastic crowd. Like, the numbers that turned out for this tournament.
Spectacular.
Stunning.
Just spectacular.
It was. Makes me so happy. And then angry that we live in Canada where, you have to beg for any attention for women's soccer leagues. Was it feasible?
We had a women's World Cup like what 7 years ago.
Yeah,
Be grateful, Kristin.
Yeah, look at all the clubs that spawned since then.
Yeah,
Exactly. Look at the infrastructure and the legacy from that.
The professional opportunities.
They won a gold medal, for fuck's sakes, Kristin. What more do you want? Like a league? Like support for the women? Come on.
outrageous.
I know. We women, we're so demanding.
Yes,
I did rather like some of the I'll call them the lesser stadiums that got used in that tournament, like was it Lee? Mm-hmm. I know that is a rugby league stadium, and I'm like, oh, that's what that looks like, because I don't watch rugby league, so I don't know what some of these places look like, what their grounds look like. But there's some absolutely adorable little grounds that hold 10 to 12,000 people, and it's like I would like a couple of those, please, thank you. Don't have a running track around it, or like just small compact venues where you don't have to play in a cavernous thing with no goddamn roofs, and literally the wind passes through it, and we sit in the sun and. Sorry. I'm now imposing myself onto this.
You're just waxing rhapsodic.
Anyway.
Mark, come back to us.
The level of support. I think what impressed me was the level of support for not England matches.
Yeah.
Because
it was wonderful.
Like that's, to me, that's. I hate to say it, and I don't necessarily mean it because of the women's game, but like. If you're a part-time soccer girl, and you can't get tickets to Canada versus whoever, does the idea of South Korea playing Colombia on a Tuesday night really appeal to you? And I mean, yes, to the three of us, the answer is probably yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you go? But exactly. for the casual, it's like, no, they don't. Like, you could see that in the CONCACAF tournament, where if it didn't involve Mexico, nobody showed up. Mm-hmm. Even if it did involve the United States, it meant 80 more people showed up than the standard 12 who did. But like, at least over there, when it was non-home team sides showing up, they were getting decent crowds. And never mind when it got to the knockouts, you could have fooled me that it was the men playing just based on the venue and how sold out it was.
Yeah.
Like 45. I mean, don't get me wrong. France, Germany would sound delicious on any continent, any gender, at any level of the game. I would be like, okay, I'll watch this. I don't even like beach soccer, but it's got to be good. But like. Then you realize, oh shit, this is in England, and there's 45,000 people here. Amazing stuff, just spectacular. So yeah, I think I don't know if they were predicting or expecting the ticket success of this, but I don't know if this catapults, say, the club game into greater interest. I mean, what little I've managed to see of the women's Premier League. Is pretty good, like caliber of play, but definitely could use some more butts and seats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully some of the those Premier League teams can actually be getting their games in the big club stadium rather than we're going to play the League Two team down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's get some games in the proper stadiums and. Mark up the shit out of it, see who comes along, and see what the fuck happens.
And I do also enjoy the fact that, specifically for England, for English football, for English women's football, the fact that this brings back into the forefront and has brought back into the forefront the disservice that was done to the women for so many decades.
Oh yeah.
Because men are stupid. It's just basically what it is. Oh no, the women can't play well. No, we should stop them and not let them play because they're good and they might show us up.
Literally weren't allowed to play
for 50 years. Yeah. So this delights me on every level. And again, quality, enjoyment, the fan engagement, just the whole thing. What a great tournament. So one of the best tournaments I think that we've seen in recent years. So completely enjoyable, well worth all of your time if you watched any of it. I hope you did. If not, again, UEFA.tv is your best friend for stuff like this. Tons of women's football on there, English Premier League. You can watch so much good football. So I highly suggest you, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's free. There you go. Top quality football for literally no dollars. So get on that. Yeah. Well done. Congratulations. Good stuff.
I think one of the things I enjoyed most, I think there's often a narrative about women's football. It's like, it just seems so much, sort of nicer. They're not as like and this and this blah blah blah. But just the way that it's like England just like time wasted the shit out of that last 10 minutes.
Oh, that was spectacular.
Oh my god, that was a masterclass. Like exactly, like any, CONCACAF should have been standing up going, yeah, well done, taking notes. How do we do that? All right, hold on. Yeah. There was some quality dives throughout that tournament. Like it was just good. Everything was good. All right. Well, moving on from the sublime to the Jacob Shaffelburg, time at Toronto FC is no more. That's right. The East Coast boy, the darling, the fresh-faced Tintin is moving on to Nashville. They've acquired him on loan.
The Maritime Messi is what the one that I'd heard. And
thank you.
Yeah, that is definitely worth a chuckle out loud because I know I did.
Very nice.
Okay, sure. We'll give you that one.
So on loan until the end of the season. So Nashville get Shaffelburg and an international roster slot for this season, and TFC get $225,000 in GAM. Like.
And this is a loan, so it's like, $225,000 in GAM, and we get the player back at the end of the year.
They could still get him back. Now there is talk that Nashville has the option to exercise a permanent transfer for him for 2023. But still, like, that's a nice bit of business for a young player who's still developing. And I will say this, not to join in on the very upset people on the socials today, through, mostly no fault of his own this season, has not performed the way he did last year. Why? Because he's not playing his position.
Yeah,
he's not a left back.
Yeah, exactly. Is he a left back? He's not.
No. So you're like, no one. Of course he doesn't look good. Of course he's not getting forward and putting it. Like, it's just no. Yeah. So that part of it, I do agree with everybody who is like upset about this on a, he's no good. I don't believe that Jacob Shaffelburg is no good. I think there's definitely talent there. He's shown that talent.
I mean, he's not Alphonso Davies, but most importantly, TFC aren't Bayern Munich.
Hold up.
Alphonso Davies at left back in 2022 TFC. You wouldn't look all that good.
Duncan, I object.
Go on.
Think that Toronto is Bayern Munich. I don't know where I was going with it. I found it to be. I wanted fake outrage, okay? And I felt like that was the time to do it, and I had nothing behind it. Also, the idea that Toronto FC could ever be compared to Bayern Munich is magnitudes of comedy. Like, just fucking hilarious. We are barely FC Cologne. Okay, like we are barely fucking.
Are we Union Berlin?
No, they're a team you can like.
We're just generally an amalgam.
Kaiserslautern, okay?
We're an amalgam of all the teams.
What? Oh, come on, that's harsh, Mark.
An amalgam of all the teams that Terence Boyd scored shitload of goals against.
Yeah, we are Kaiserslautern right now.
Oh, okay, that's fair, actually. All right, fine.
Because they won a league exactly once and then went to shit shortly thereafter, just like Kaiserslautern. But anyway, yeah, like it's the Shaffelburg thing, like of any concept of failure is completely lost. Like if anyone really thinks that this is a failure of TFC or whatever, like he's not been playing in his natural position because
it is a failure of TFC. It's a failure of Bob Bradley to play him out of position.
I meant more of his development than anything.
Oh, okay, yes.
He's going to be fine. He is going to be perfectly fine.
Well, and he's going to a team that's actually in the playoff hunt. Like,
and it's only a matter of time that somebody was going to go, you know what, he's really fucking fast. Ooh, let's get him. Like, we don't have somebody really fucking fast. I think he's great. I genuinely think he is very, very good. An all-star? No, but he's definitely above average for this league. And why shouldn't he go? Why should he continue to play out of position just because of designated players
and playing fewer and fewer minutes? So
the guy's been coming.
Go get some minutes. Go get some playing time.
As far as I'm concerned, like on most MLS teams, he's a starter. I say most, I mean 20 of the 28 teams. The reason why he would be a start the other 8 teams is because they got somebody in that position already, but they don't need him. That's what I mean. Like all power to him. I hope he does great and comes back, or better yet, I hope Nashville offer a permanent deal where he stays and starts all the time and has a full career. This is what I want. I want to see our young kids, our young Canadian kids, be professionals playing meaningful time, getting paid. Well, he can get paid, but if he's not getting meaningful time, then he is wasting away.
Yeah.
I want this for him. This is not an anti-TFC thing. This is a pro-Canadian young player development thing. Congratulations, Jacob. I am so happy for you. Genuinely, sincerely. Kick ass all over Nashville and make the robots proud. Or were they the monkeys? I always forgot which one.
I can't remember either. I know, that's why I didn't put it in the rundown, because I couldn't remember which one they were.
Why did Tony have to get loaned out so?
I know he was the keeper of this knowledge. Maybe Massive Report will allow us to just check in with him this once.
Because we called one of them
robots and one of them
the first
monkeys.
team. I want to say they are the robots because it was the monkeys versus robots, and Cincinnati was first, and then Nashville was second, and that's where the joke came from, because we need to make up a fake derby or something. But yeah, so we'll say the robots. So enjoy.
Okay, sure.
Enjoy being a robot. Make him proud. Bleep bloop bleep.
And I really, really want to agree with everything you've said there, Mark, and I certainly hope it works out that way. But I can't help but think this is going to be more. It's going to be more Jay Chapman than Mark Anthony Kaye.
Oh,
I would say. And again, Jay Chapman, love that guy. I hope it works out, but it doesn't seem to be. I would be surprised if Shaffelburg goes on to really good things, but it could work. But we'll see. I doubt it. We'll see.
I think one of the things that can work in his favor, one is that he's a young player, right? So he's on the ascendancy of his career, assuming his career doesn't get thrown off track. But so he's got lots of time. He's got a path ahead, and he plays a position that American teams are willing to give to Canadian players, which doesn't work in every position. It usually tends to be in midfield or the wing. If you're going to be a Canadian player playing in the States, that's generally what you want to be.
He's nearly 23. He's not that young.
Oh my God. In MLS terms, he's a puppy still, Duncan. Come on.
In MLS terms, where most of the players that come into this league come from NCAA, he's practically a rookie.
Yeah, the really young ones are the ones that come through the academy. So, like, if you look at someone like Ralph Prizo, traded earlier to Colorado from Mark Anthony Kaye, like, he's only 19. So that's that's a really young player. But again, super talented player. So total aside, just because I said Colorado, did anyone see any of the highlights of the Colorado comeback against the energy drinks?
No.
Hilarious. They were down, did they come back from 4 down or 3 down? Anyways, they won 5-4.
Oh. It was 2-0 and then it was 3-1. I don't know exactly how it went.
Okay, it was just, I just saw the last 3 goals because my phone kept going. Hilarious. Anyway, I think this brings up that conversation again that we've had, I don't know, a gazillion times about youth player development at TFC and making use of the academy, and how, we were excited about the youth movement at the beginning of the season, and how now in true TFC form, we're reverting to money players. While there are still Canadians involved in the everyday play, thank goodness for Lucas McNaughton putting in a good show these days. JMR, obviously, a couple of the other kids doing well, Jaden Nelson, who I'm still a fan of. I know there's a bunch of you out there that have this massive hate on for Jaden Nelson. I'm going to continue to defend him. I think there's talent there. I think he is worth keeping around and developing. So there. Anyway, there's, there's Peruzza and Petrasso. There's still Canadian youth on this team that is being played along with the big money players.
There's Liverpool's Jaquil Marshall-Rutty on the team.
JMR, that's right, yes. So I get it, and I do see a frustration. I saw someone brought up Liam Fraser, and I'm like, where are you Liam Fraser lovers when he was being nailed to the bench and shipped off unceremoniously to Columbus? No one cared then. Why do people care now? Fuck you. Sorry. As Liam Fraser's biggest fan,
clearly,
I just like all of you who are suddenly using him as a foil in your arguments against Jacob Shaffelburg being loaned out. I don't even know where I'm going with this.
Honestly, it's the rage that keeps us coming back.
And to just keep going, just see where it ends up. Right?
I don't know. I lost the thread about 3 words into the sentence, and then it just was stuff happening. I don't even know. I don't believe that Toronto FC has given up on their Canadian players or their youth Canadian players. I think in certain circumstances they are giving players an opportunity to actually play. And I think that is the case with Jacob Shaffelburg, who again has been played out of position all season, doing him a disservice. He's not playing that much anymore. Let's not kill his career. Let's give him a chance to fucking play somewhere. There are opportunities happening. Ralph Prizo, only 19. He's going to play for a really good coach in Robin Fraser at a kind of, pretty interesting team in Colorado. I continue to like what they've done. It has a gazillion Toronto connections, so he'll feel right at home.
This is true. Weather.
There's lots of opportunities happening, and there are still good Canadian young players stepping onto the pitch every week for TFC. So let's everyone just take a deep breath and see where the rest of this season unfolds. Because this fan base is impatient. If it's not winning everything and destroying all the records and all comers, you all stay away in droves. But suddenly there's a little bit of success and we sign some big money players, and now you care about the Canadian kids. You can't have it both ways, you guys.
No, of course not. But I mean, it's this whole, it's almost like this is the fantasy we want it to be, right? We want to. I mean, who wouldn't want to reproduce the Lisbon Lions of 1967 when Celtic won everything there was to win with all of their players coming within, what was it, like 20 kilometers of the stadium?
That was pretty fucking cool.
Like that is, first off, that is an anomaly within an anomaly. And second of all, it hasn't happened since. Hasn't even come close. So like, okay, it would be nice. I would absolutely love it if TFC could feel the competitive side with nothing but academy kids just plucking out of the garden.
Yeah, and
they don't have to win. They don't have to win. But I love the idea that it's just, we've got a couple veterans sprinkled in. One or two of them are on the bench. We got a couple DPs, but the rest of them are all kids from the GTA. That would be delightful. Just taking on the world, just us against, literally a Toronto team against the world. But that shit is fucking fiction in your head. That's not going to happen, because when it's all said and done, this is a business. Asses in seats don't really translate when they're not winning, and especially when you get so many fussy people who are, why they need to sack this guy and get rid of this guy, and it's like this is not how any of this works. You bring in whatever you need to do to get people to come to the stadium, but you also need to win, because you can't sustain bringing in all this, say, outside talent and not win and expect people to just still show up because they played for Italy once, or whatever the real backstories, whatever your threshold of patience is. So which you can't have it both ways. I mean, the real answer is start your own club with your own philosophy and good luck. Because, I mean, you can't really do it here in North America. But my point is that I would love it too, but that doesn't exist. And it can't exist, and it won't exist. Unless you're a billionaire who can buy their way in, it won't work. So either adjust your worldview or shut the fuck up. Because what you're asking for cannot happen.
Well, and the other thing that I think I saw somebody else mention, that I think is a really good point. And I was talking about, if you're a Canadian player, and you want to get on, you want to catch on with an MLS side. And I get the MLS is not the be all and end all, and that ideally everyone still wants to go overseas and that sort of thing. But there is still good football to be played in MLS. There's good opportunities for your game. And yes, maybe you move on from there. But the fact that teams are asking for some of these young players from Toronto, hey, we want to give you something that's somewhat valuable for one of your young players. That says something about the quality of the players, and to a degree what TFC is doing in terms instead of just casting them aside. Mark Anthony K comes back, right? When Mark Anthony K left TFC, does anyone remember what we got for him? Did we get anything for him? Did he just basically just sort of leave? Do you know what I mean? There was, in this case, to get Mark Anthony K, we had to give up Ralph Prizo.
Yeah.
And for Nashville to get Jacob Shaffelburg, they had to give us a bunch of money. $225K is not small change, even in a weird, funny money league like MLS. So I think there's stuff to sort of look at in terms of how these interactions are happening, in terms of the quality or the value that is being placed on some of these players. We're not just, and we have railed time and time again about how TFC treats their young players. Absolutely we have. And I'm not saying there's suddenly been a renaissance in which all of the young Canadian players are treated as gods and we must protect them at all costs and we will do anything for them. But I'm also thinking that it's not quite what we used to bitch about constantly when every Canadian player was nailed to the bench or kept getting shuttled down to the reserve team or the academy team, or whatever the fuck it's called this week, MLS Next team. I think there is a difference. I think there has been, if not a fundamental shift, then at least a shift. And I could just be looking through rose-colored glasses because that's what I want to see, because I believe in youth player development. I believe in academies. And I don't know where this soapbox came from. I'm so sorry. I'm going to step down and let the two of you talk.
I thought I
Sorry,
did my
Duncan.
bit earlier,
Yeah,
so I'm good.
that's okay. But yeah, it's a balancing act between trying to get like kids in there versus trying to build a winning team right away versus if you get too many kids in at the same time, it's probably not going to work out well. It's probably ideally you can just having like 2 or 3 of them at most, and then a particular game in amongst like a bunch of actually good players would probably be the ideal balance. But that was not where TFC are currently. I think maybe they are right now after they've signed a bunch of players and everything. They probably only need to have like 1 or 2 or 3 of the young ones in there. But yeah, it is what it is. There's only so many. There's only 11 people you can be putting out there at any one time. So,
yeah, I feel like Duncan, what you touched on is that it's the balance, and I kind of feel like because we try to because Toronto FC tries to chase players that are big impact in important roles when say the stars align. Like now we can get a bunch of DPs because we just got rid of a bunch of DPs. Okay, fantastic. So how many kids in the academy would have been taking that role? 2 or 3? Well, that's unfortunate. They're not going to get to play. So now we need help in the defense, which is where some of those other seasoned veterans should be. But how many kids play in the back? Most of them? A lot of them? Some out of position? Like you kind of need to be able to shift the pieces around such that these kids can get some time being a midfielder surrounded by these great players, being a forward surrounded by these great players, being a defender surrounded by players who can support you the way you need to be supported so that you can learn, not just from practice, not from drills, but just being exposed to the game, the meaning of the game, your job, your profession with the best around you. But instead, it seems like in the case of a couple seasons ago where we saw all the kids, but they were just a stopgap until everybody got healthy and all of them, save for maybe one, were relegated back to the bench or even further down the chain, back to TFC2.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. That's not development. That really isn't. That we weren't seeing those guys. We weren't seeing those kids out because it's like we're doing well and we can coast, and this would be a good time to give them some experience. That was a desperation move. And as soon as everything was back to normal, abandon that plan B, because obviously that's what you want. Plan B is the backup, not the plan A. Plan A is play your stars, best 11 all the time, every time, no matter what. So you can't develop players if you're constantly pushing them, demoting them because, well, you were always going to be the 3rd pick in this position. Like, how much time did you think you were going to get, even though we signed you to a contract? Like, it's just, there's no balance to be had. And I don't know, maybe other teams in MLS do it right. I don't know. Like, I would be curious to take a look at what does Galaxy do? What does Seattle do? I'm trying to think of teams with like 3 designated players. What does Atlanta do? What does Red Bull do?
Philadelphia,
yeah, like NYFC, like
Philadelphia
NYFC.
and NYS, yeah, Philadelphia. Like those are the ones that I come to mind that I think actually do a good job. But they've spent a lot of time at it, and TFC has been so up and down with their focus and willingness to tread that path. Mm-hmm. Whereas you've got like a few organizations within MLS that have consistently just made that their focus, and you know what, and perhaps suffered for it performance-wise for a number of years, but now have a constant, not their whole team isn't academy players, but they always have featured youth players that they have brought through. And I feel like maybe TFC is perhaps starting that finally. I don't know.
Like, I feel like because of this, the current iteration is still so new. Like who knows what this team looks like next year? And I don't mean,
oh God, yeah.
I don't mean for like Osorio, Bradley, the three Italians, the Jimenez. Like, I don't know, like, if I can't imagine there's going to be too much flux in that, but it's the rest of them.
Yep.
But this is still kind of new. Like, they still need to get defenders. They still need to get some quality back there. So, like, this is not a finished product.
No.
But in that finished product, how many of those kids are academy kids? Like, our top three and middle of the pitch are spoken for. So what's their room for? A one winger and four backs? Well, that's what we're doing now with kids, and it's.
I feel like there should be room for Akinola up front.
I agree.
Let's face it. Let's not be putting Jimenez in.
Like
The Italians and everything. He had a good run at the start of the season. He's not all that special. Play Akinola. That kid's got a future. Yeah. The kid's on the cusp of a World Cup squad. Give him a fucking chance.
I 100% agree with Duncan.
I would love that. I only picked him out because I feel like there's a need to justify the cost of what we paid for them. So now you get to play. Yeah. Like, even if you're shit, like when we
did that with Altidore all those years.
Altidore was absolute dog shit. Like, just couldn't score in a brothel. The game against the V Cup game against Vancouver, where he went down injured after taking a penalty, and before they could sub him off, they scored. They were down a man and they scored. He was so bad that they were better without a person on the field than him on it. Like, that was to be like that was the conclusion of the thesis. And then, of course, he rehab, came back like a house on fire, and was amazing. But for like 10, 15 games, he was awful. And under most circumstances, if he wasn't a designated player, he would have been a substitute. He wouldn't have been a starter. He would have been a substitute. But because we pay him $3 million, $4 million, I don't know, I can't remember what his contract was, but he was designated player, so he's a designated player money, so he starts no matter what. And it was hard to watch. But like now none of the DPs are in that situation where like even if Jimenez is like, he's not that phase of Altidore's career bad. Nobody.
And he's not a DP.
But like, yeah, but at the same time too, he's not making league minimum.
No, he's not.
You know what I mean? Like, so like it sucks because that's what I feel like that's what a cap does, is that there's more pressure to put the players you pay more for on the field unless it's clear that they are a liability. Like, he's not bad, he's just not great. And Akinola's got a far higher upswing as far as I'm concerned. But that's not how I feel like that logic works.
Yeah, but again, like the MLSE as an organization, they don't like to lose, and Leafs notwithstanding. But actually, the Leafs get to do whatever they want, whether they win or not, so it doesn't matter. The Leafs don't in this equation, like, they literally, and I don't mean the Leafs don't count, but they don't count. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is a results there is a results expectation. Hence a lot of the moves for this season, and Jimenez, who was really enjoyable to watch at the beginning of the season. Yeah, he's in a slump, and you hope that Bradley is the type of coach who will not just look at the money, but look at the results and be like, you know what, he needs to sit for a match. He needs to not start. And yeah, like someone like Akinola needs to start. And we need to like switch things up and see what that looks like. And it's not meant as punishment. It's meant as, well, we need to win. Currently, you are not helping us win. You've been in a slump for several games. He hasn't looked as engaged or as, lively up front, that sort of thing. I often forget that he's playing. So from that standpoint, from a purely football standpoint, yeah, he should sit. And I would applaud Bradley for sitting him as someone who, has been excited by him as a player. But there's you have to give opportunities, especially when things aren't clicking the way they were.
Uh-huh.
Agreed.
This has turned into the most interesting discussion, you guys.
Yeah.
This has been
Also,
fun.
get Michael Bradley off the pitch. Let Mark Anthony Kay take his job, and Bradley, you don't need to be out there every single game.
Duncan, I wish that was something that would happen, but it's just not going to. That's where I miss Coach Havy. Coach Havy would sit Michael Bradley. His dad, not so much.
Apparently not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were thinking, this is the guy that they can bring in, and it's he can be the one that can actually sit him down and give him rest and let him not play every fucking minute of every fucking game. But no, apparently Bob's going to do that as well. Daddy.
All right, so that indeed has been what we're talking about. And boy, did we talk about some stuff. But let's move on to the last part of our show. Yes, we're not done yet, you guys. There's still one more thing to talk about. Possibly two things.
Possibly two. I'm excited.
I know you are. All right, so this is what's coming up. I know. I thought just a little mention, just a little tease before next week, just a little touch. It'll be fine. Although I will just throw this out here. Apparently, League's Cup is still a thing, and
sorry,
Zombie Shivas is playing tonight. I don't know. It's oh my god, yeah, it's oh my god, the LA Vannies and Zombie Shivas are playing tonight. Ooh. Anyway, if you care, there you go, because you'll get this 2 days after they happen. So I hope you watch and enjoyed these very important games. No, so this weekend, Toronto FC are still on the road, and they are playing Jacob Shaffelburg's Nashville Robots. That's right, but
life comes at you fast.
He will not be playing.
Oh.
As per whatever league agreements about loaned players not automatically suiting up against their former teams. I don't know. There's some rule. It makes sense. Anyway, so no shit kicking moments from Shaffelburg in this one. So Nashville, in the middle of the pack in the Western Conference, they're pretty much firmly in the middle. They're going to make the playoffs again, probably. But what's interesting is that they actually have a better road record than they do a home record, which I found fascinating. Now they have won games at home, so that's good. And TFC suck on the road, so. But the other thing that may help offset this for Toronto, it probably won't, but is that Nashville also plays midweek. So that is something that could, they'll have a short turnaround, maybe wear out some of their players, so on and so forth. But, in their long history, 4 matches, Nashville just has the edge on Toronto, although Toronto did win their last meeting way back almost a year ago, last September. So, they have the momentum going into this game. And no Jacob Shaffelburg to ignite them and send up a spark. Which I think is sad.
Yes, it is.
I don't want to have it turned on us so quickly. I'd like that to stretch out a bit. So
that's fair. Fair. I'm sure they play again.
Let Shaffelburg get his brace later. Anthony now.
That's what, Mark. That seems very reasonable. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Well then, let's take a look at players to watch. And there's a couple standouts on here. Oh, I forgot he was there.
I forgot he was here. Is it Alex Bunbury's kid?
Yes.
Yeah. That's my player to watch, mostly because I just want to
watch him.
I want him to get a second yellow card
on?
really
early,
and just like 9 minutes in, just second yellow. Go sit down, kid. I don't want him to hurt anybody. I don't want him to get hurt. I just want him to cause his team to suffer a bit. Give up the. I don't know many forwards who give up the penalty in their own box, but let this be one of those. I want something that won't wreck his career, but will wreck his night. That's what I want. Otherwise,
that seems reasonable.
Otherwise, Mukhtar, but it's as soon as I see Bunbury on the back of the shirt, I'm gonna be wrong one. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't care.
I was waiting for that.
I don't care. Don't love it. Don't love it. He's actually a genuinely good player. He's
yes.
He was sort of like, converted fullback, what have you. You know, this the Jacob Shaffelburg. Here's who you can learn from, Jacob. Don't love it.
Good point.
Also, Dax McCarty. Is Dax McCarty seriously still playing?
Oh my God.
How old is Dax McCarty these days? Good God.
He's not playing. You're lying.
Dax McCarty, he's a starter for Nashville.
Dax McCarty retired back in 2016. I don't
He's 35.
Holy fuck, he's still playing. You know, I feel like every time because Dax has played for like 19 different teams in the last every time we play Dax McCarty, I go, he's still playing? Like, it's its own fucking triggered inside joke. Like, it's triggered because I only triggers when I hear his fucking name, and then I naturally descend. Is he still playing? Wow. Amazing. And you say he's only, what, 34?
35.
35. Well, I'm going to be doing this for at least another 2 seasons. So, like, let's just lean into it. I can't believe he's still playing. It's amazing. He's got to be by now, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm not going to pick who I would normally pick because it usually results in that player scoring against Toronto, so I'm not going to do it. Instead, I'm going to switch my attentions to Zimmerman, just because, you know, he's an annoyingly talented defender, and it'll be interesting to see some of TFC's attacking players try to work around him. Also, the fact that, Bernie's tall, but the rest of Toronto's attacking players are very short. Zimmerman is a big guy. So it'll just be interesting just to see the juxtaposition. Also, he's just, again, annoyingly good defender. So that's my player to watch.
Zimmerman brace. Gotcha.
Yep. There we go.
That's true. It's
well done, Kristin, yet again.
I'm sorry in advance, everyone.
The more unlikely the position, the more goals that they score. If you'd picked the keeper, you would have scored 4.
There's also a T. Washington, who, I don't know anything about him, but I just hope his nickname is Booker. It really should be.
Yes.
Nice.
And he's going to go out there. He's just a walking yellow card, really, isn't he? He should be a referee. He should be the one that's giving out.
He's the booker. Instead of the booked. Yep.
Indeed.
Well, that's a career path for him to look at down the road.
Yeah.
You've already laid it out for him, Duncan. Look at you helping.
Yes.
Duncan, career advisor to MLS players.
Mm-hmm.
Such a generous soul. Predictions for this match, gentlemen.
3-2 Nashville.
Reasonable.
I think I put down 2-1 Toronto. I think it's going to start coming together. Now's a good time.
I had 2-1 Nashville.
Look at me, all sunshine. Jesus.
Yeah.
I know. Normally I would have gone for the draw or maybe an unlikely TFC win. It's just they've been so bad on the road. They just can't seem to get it together. But Mark, I hope you're right. I hope they're coalescing. The draw in Foxy Foxborough, maybe that was a sign. Clean sheet, that was great. So I hope I am wrong. Now, before we go, there is just one last thing, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit more next week. Maybe we won't. We don't really like it. We don't watch it. But I just wanted to mention that the fucking All-Star game is next week. That's right. Aren't you excited? A week from today, in fact, if I remember correctly. Next Wednesday? That's the All-Star game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Possibly.
It's going to be so exciting. If you want to know all about it, you just have to go to the MLS website, and there's a whole page for it. There's the schedule and the events, and there's music and all sorts of stuff. Oh yeah.
Are Larry and Bernie playing?
No, however, I do believe that Larry is in a skills contest somehow, some way. I'm not sure how.
Let's hope it's not a penalty-taking skills contest.
Hey.
He's in the All-Star Skills Challenge, and I don't know what that entails. Do they participate in every skill? I don't know what that means, because I have not paid attention to the MLS All-Star stuff in so many years.
I haven't paid attention to it since I had to flip the tickets for the MLS All-Star game we hosted, and then proceeded to boo everybody except Di Rosario. But I did scream like a girl when Blanco touched the ball because everyone was doing it for Beckham.
That's just the way it should be.
Just comedy.
That's just great.
Blanco. Because Blanco was awesome. Guatemala Blanco. Y'all missed something there. Oh, so good. Anyway. So
the All-Star Skills Challenge, yes, that's on what day is that on? Is that on Tuesday? That's next Tuesday. So 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be on TSN, folks. So get ready to watch Insigne go up against, I don't know, other players in MLS.
Yeah, who's the All-Star game against?
Oh God, who is the All-Star game against? That is an excellent question. I don't even remember.
MX All-Stars.
Oh, that's right. This is the ongoing thing where they try to make the MLS versus Liga MX stuff actually people care about it. Right.
I mean, the only thing I hope for is that Liga MX pace, but that's just because I don't like All-Star games and I think it's dumb. I mean, if it was fun, it would be okay, but it rarely is. I still think my futsal idea is way better for the All-Star game, for All-Star weekend. I told you about the futsal idea, right?
Yes, I thought it was wonderful.
Yes. For those of you who don't.
Do you want to outline it again?
Okay, for those of you who don't know, basically a futsal tournament instead of the All-Star game, except it's all gimmicky. You can have literally a team full of Kamaras, which I think is really fucking funny. And you can get players outside of the league to fit your gimmick. You could just have University of Virginia All-Stars. That could be a team, just players that used to play for the University of Virginia that are in MLS. You just assemble teams of 5, 6, whatever it needs to be. You just do it in an arena. And it's all lighthearted. You play very short games, quick round robins, finalist. Think of it kind of like the Big 3 basketball, except much more compact and just silly. Put together dream teams. Pick a fan and let them pick a team of 6 players. It could be anybody they want. It could just be people they like. Just put them together. I think that would be way more interesting than this. I realize it also probably isn't as interesting on television, but I would go out of my way to try to get to the All-Star game if it was something legitimately fun. So I stand by it. I think it's a really good idea. I would love to see the league try and do that. I would love to see Canadian Premier League steal that idea. I know you guys are listening. I know you're listening. Steal that idea. Steal that idea. Do it at the end of the season. Do it at Cops because, of course, Hamilton. And we'll just do it. Yeah, that was for you guys. Mostly Kristin because she still has to admit her undying love for the club. Anyway, yeah, All-Stars.
So there's 5 events in the skills challenge. I just want to. So there's the shooting challenge. There's the touch challenge. I want to rename that. Cross and volley challenge, the passing challenge, and the crossbar challenge. And so what I didn't realize, because again I paid so little attention, is that there's a roster of MLS skills challenge players going up against a roster of Liga MX skills challenge players.
Wow.
I know, right?
I hope MLS wins. Oh no.
I mean,
although I do want to say that Sweet Dane St. Clair, the nephew of the close personal friend of Duncan's, is on here. So yeah, I just want to put that out there, as well as obviously Larry. So, but yeah, I didn't realize it was a whole. Wasn't just like, hey, you know, who's got the best, who can do the best passing, or who can hit the top of the crossbar and the corners and stuff. No, it's a competition against. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yay, All-Star stuff! If you like it, Monday,
All-Star.
Tuesday, Wednesday next week, have at. Enjoy.
MLS All-Star stuff. Brought to you by Audi. Who cares?
I love it.
All right. Well, on that exciting note, that's our show for this week. Please join us next week when we. Oh, what are we going to talk about next week?
The All-Star game, Kristin.
The All-Star game. You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot already. I was so excited that I just blanked it from memory. Obviously, we're going to talk about the All-Star game. Whether we'll discuss the TFC versus Robots match. Look ahead to TFC's next home match. You get another. You know what I'm going to tell you. You just have to tune in next week for what I want to say about that match. And whatever else is happening in the exciting world of football, probably something CanPL related. Hopefully there are no more unfortunate revelations from Canada Soccer. And shout out to Alfonso Davies for his plan to donate all of his World Cup earnings, whatever money he gets for the World Cup, to charity, to help other people have better lives. That is a really commendable thing, and for a young man who has had a lot of success, this is a really lovely thing to see.
Mm-hmm. Also, very nicely cuts off any potential the players are so greedy narrative.
Indeed.
That he's, and it's good for him to want to take that hit. It's like, yeah, you can spare the money. So there are probably some players on the team who, this could actually be really, this, whatever money they'd be getting for it, like $1 million, whatever it might be per player, could actually be really fucking helpful. Fonzie can spare it, so it works out in many ways.
And I mean, Canada's going to win the World Cup, so that's a lot of money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. That's a lot of money.
And also the Grey Mice are up 2-0 on the Pony Boys right now.
Yeah, I've been watching it. It's one guy nearly undid the entire team and just choked the ball up. But I can't. For those of you who did watch it, and I don't want an explanation because it doesn't it's still stupid. Why are both teams wearing their away kits?
Oh God, again. Fuck's sakes, CanPL.
Fuck's sakes, CanPL. They're away kits, for Christ's sakes. They're change kits. Somebody's at home.
Why we do this? All right. Anyway, thank you all for joining us and listening.
If only
As
you
per
guys
usual.
had a podcast to talk about such kit-related things on.
Duncan, God damn it. So good at this.
Again, we had a lot of discussions about a lot of different things tonight. Please feel free to share your thoughts and opinions with us. Add us on Twitter, comment on the website, send us DMs, whatever. We love the conversation, and we appreciate
all comments about this show to @malarkey FC.
Yes, definitely @malarkey FC.
Yes.
And make sure you start everything with "Dear Bastard." We really appreciate it when it starts @malarkey FC, "Dear Bastard." That's what resonates with us the most. If that number gets greater than 2, that is the worst. It's still funny. It has to be greater.
That number gets more than Francesco and Mike Hudson.
Yeah. I'm not, no pressure, but just let us know you did it too, because I want to keep these. I want to see our handiwork come to life. No.
Oh no! All right. Again, that has been our show. I've been joined by 2 of the 3 usual other panelists. To be found out there on the Twitters @Duncan D. Fletcher, Mr. Duncan Fletcher.
Zip and zap.
Stolen. Even better.
Tony?
Mm.
Not anymore.
Out there in the Twitterverse @KitNerdMark with a K, not a Q, Mr. Mark Hinkley.
Thank you all for your continuous support via Patreon. We absolutely appreciate it. We got shirts. That guy we loaned out to Columbus, he designed them. You can find them on our Zazzle shop. Find the link on our website. And also, as my esteemed colleague has alluded to more than once on this episode, we do a thing. We do a sub thing. We do kitnerdcorner.ca, Kit Nerd Corner podcast. The thing I kind of threatened to do, we're doing it, and we've done 2 episodes, and you can go find all the information on that website, kitnerdcorner.ca. You also can find it on your Spotify's and your iTunes and your Stitchers. Thank you. Enjoy. Oh, and there's pictures on the website. No theater of the mind. You don't have to imagine. It's right on the website. See all the pictures that we're talking about.
Oh, God. As for me, you can find me on the internet, yes, the entire internet, at KZ Knowles. I have been your host, Kristin Knowles. And until next week, Canada, get used to it.